Hello YouTubers, this is Cyberdyne24 and I'm here to actually show you my gun collection. I'm a big time shooter and I love to go out and shoot the targets, not a big hunter. And the first gun I'm going to show you is probably the latest gun I've purchased, and it is the Springfield Armory XD, which is, in a sense, it's a Glock knockoff. It's still a really good firearm. It's made by Springfield Armory out of Illinois, but actually the gun itself is actually made in Croatia. It fires a 45 ACP round. This is the round right here. It's a full metal jacket, 230 grains, which is a really good sized bullet. Really good stopping power if you really want personal protection. As you can see, the gun, the slide is cocked back, and as you can see in the injection port, there's no round in the chamber, and plus there's no magazine in, so this gun is safe to handle. But always follow the rule, always treat a gun as if it was loaded. And right next to it is the magazine. It's a 13 round stainless steel magazine. I have came with two of these when I bought the firearm. And I also bought a 10 round magazine. I thought it was 13 round, but it doesn't matter to me. And over here, you have your magazine release. And plus, the coolest thing with this gun is it is ambidextrous. So you do have another clip release right here. Plus, also you have your slide lock, which is there for purposes of when you actually reload when you're reloading the firearm, and also when you're actually taking the firearm apart. And this little tab here is to actually release the slide from the body of the gun for when you actually have to disassemble it for cleaning purposes. And believe me, whenever you use a firearm, after you use it, it's always a rule of thumb to clean it and lubricate it. Plus, also periodically, if you store your firearms, is to lubricate it and clean it to make sure you don't get any kind of rust built up in the barrel or on the outside of the firearm. And let me just put this on the bipod. I'll show you a little bit more of it. Hello again. Now this particular firearm will run you about, it ran me about $549, and that's actually not including tax. But to be honest with you, it's a really good firearm. I mean, I've tried it out. I've only tried it out once, and I really enjoyed it. It does have some really good power. And plus also is if you want the stopping power of a 45 ACP but do not want to spend the money for a 1911, because a good 1911 will probably cost you over $1,000. I mean, Springfield Armory, they do make ones that are pretty cheap that start at like $5.99 or $6.49. At some gun shows I've seen them for $4.99, but the thing is, you don't want to buy something cheap like that. I would prefer buying this over a cheap 911 any day. Plus also with this is you get more rounds in the magazine than the 1911. Now to to unlock this, take this button, the slide lock, push it down, and there you go. Now if there's a magazine loaded in this with ammunition, this gun would be ready to fire. Because as you can see, from this the pin right here, means that it's cocked and ready to fire. But as I told you before, the gun is unloaded, so believe me, it's not going to go off. Now with this, it does have some safety devices on it. It does have a little push button right here on the arm grip that you have to depress down to be able to fire. Plus also there's another button like that actually on the trigger itself, so you have to depress both of those at the same time to be able to press the trigger fully. If not, trigger ain't going to go and it's not going to fire. So once you have both those depressed, you hear that click, you know the gun fired. Now usually in most cases I don't like dry firing my weapons, but since I'm showing you the ins and outs of this for instructional purposes, I'm going to dry fire it. Now if you want to load a magazine, all you have to do is take a magazine right here. It's unloaded. Stick it in here. Kind of be a little forceful with it to make sure it locks in well. And if the gun was in this position when you actually load the magazine, you would have to pull the slide back to charge it. Now since it went back to this, it's because the magazine is unloaded. If it wasn't unloaded, it would go straight to this and ready to fire. It's a very it's a very nice weapon. Springfield makes very good weapons, especially their rifles. Their M1 style rifles, chambered in .308. They're really nice. Plus the XD is a really nice gun. They have many different variations of it, different sizes. They got full size versions, plus also the carrying ones where you can carry it in your pocket or carry it in a hip holster, which doesn't seem very big and bulgy, which pretty much goes with the whole premise of carry and conceal. And you can get different kinds of styles where the actual slide itself is stainless steel and the body's black. Plus also it does have a rail system where you can put a red dot, laser sight on it or a flashlight. That depends on if you really want to do it. As you can see right here, it does have the sights. And take the magazines out. If you want to disassemble the firearm, here I'll show you. All you do in a situation like that is you would, here, this is a better way of doing it so I can see it. Pull it back. You'd want to pull it back like this. Make sure the slide is depressed, like the slide is locked. Now sometimes this can be a little pain in the butt. You turn that where it faces upwards, pointing up towards the slide. Hit the slide lock, and everything comes apart. Now pretty much you have the body of the frame. You actually have the frame of the gun. And this is actually kind of like the working, almost the sort of the business end of it. You have the spring right here, which you can pop right out, and also clean it, and also put a little oil in it to make sure it stays nice and good. And this is also the barrel itself. Now I'm holding the barrel like this is because the outside of the barrel is covered in oil, and you do not want to get the oil on your fingertips touching the barrel, because then it's just not a really good thing. I mean, it's something my grandfather taught me. And to reassemble it, it's very easy. Slide the barrel in like so. Take the spring. Make sure it's locked in like that. Slide the pistol back in like so. Pull it back and engage the slide lock. And remember this little button that's right here? Flip it back, and there you go. And that's pretty much to it. That's the Springfield XD. It's a good firearm. If you want to take a look at it, you can always visit their website or go to your local gun shops. And always, ladies and gentlemen, join the National Rifles Association. It's necessary to ensure our right to bear firearms. Believe me, it's worth it. Y'all have a great day.